Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Tanvi Taneja and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi digitally inaugurates Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, also launches e-Gopala app. First batch of 5 Rafale jets formally inducted into Indian Air Force by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at Ambala Air Base. Over 34,71,000 people recover from COVID-19 in the country so far. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to attend Shanghai Cooperation Foreign Ministers meeting in Moscow today. And in tennis, Serena Williams enters the semi-finals of US Open for the 11th consecutive time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today digitally launched the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana PMMSY. He also launched the e-Gopala app, a comprehensive breed improvement marketplace and information portal for direct use of farmers. On the occasion, several other initiatives in the fisheries and animal husbandry sectors in Bihar were also launched by the Prime Minister. The Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is a flagship scheme for focused and sustainable development of fisheries sector in the country with an estimated investment of over 20,000 crore rupees. This is the highest ever investment in the fisheries sector. It also aims at enhancing fish production by an additional 70 lakh tons by 2024-25. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said that the aim behind launching all these schemes is that the villages should become the strength of 21st century India, energy and self-reliant India. He said today Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is being launched in 21 states of the country. He said over 20,000 crore rupees will be spent on this in the next 4 to 5 years. Mr. Modi said many facilities have been inaugurated and foundation stone was laid in Patna, Purnia, Sitamarhi, Madhya Kishanganj and Samastipur of Bihar. He said through these facilities, fish producers will get new infrastructure, modern equipment and new market. He said, keeping in mind the trade of fish in every part of the country, for the first time, such a big scheme has been prepared.
इन जैसी तमाम बहनें आज स्वावलंबन के लिए, आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए तेजी से आगे आ रही हैं। सरकार की भी हर संभव ये कोशिश है कि बहनों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा अवसर मिले और इसके लिए स्वयं सहायता समूहों को जब और ज्यादा मदद की जा रही है। मुझे विश्वास है कि पशुपालन में तो वैसे भी परंपरागत रूप से ही हमारे यहाँ पशुपालन का काम हमारी माताओं बहनों ने ही संभाला है।
He said under PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, money has been directly transferred to the bank accounts of more than 10 crore farmers of the country, out of which nearly 75 lakh farmers are from Bihar. He said so far about 6,000 crore rupees have been deposited in the bank accounts of farmers of Bihar. The Prime Minister said e-Gopala app will be a digital medium which will help livestock owners to choose advanced livestocks. This app will give all information related to productivity, health and diet to the cattle owners.
एक जो आप बच्चों को जाकर के मोटिवेट करते हैं और आप टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़े हुए हैं, क्यों ना आप अपनी एक ऐप बनाएं, जिस ऐप में एक 10-12 मिनट का हर हफ्ते में 2 बार एक बच्चों को समझ आए पशुपालन का, खेती का, टेक्नोलॉजी का, ऐसे छोटे विषय आप उनको ऑनलाइन पढ़ाएं।
Mr. Modi appealed to people to maintain precautionary measures during Corona time. He said people should not take Corona pandemic lightly. He said it will take time for development of Corona vaccine, but we can secure ourselves by adopting social vaccine. He also stressed on wearing masks and social distancing.
The first batch of 5 Rafale aircraft was today formally inducted into Indian Air Force at a special function held at Air Force Station Ambala. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Minister of the Armed Forces of France, Florence Parly, witnessed the traditional Sarva Dharma Puja conducted at the Rafale induction ceremony. Mr. Singh and his French counterpart also witnessed the air display of Rafale fighter aircraft flanked by Sukhoi 30 and Jaguar aircraft in arrow formation. Mr. Rajnath Singh congratulated Indian Air Force and citizens of the country on the historic moment of induction of Rafale.
एयरफोर्स में राफेल का शामिल होना एक महत्वपूर्ण एवं ऐतिहासिक क्षण है और हम सब देशवासियों के लिए इस ऐतिहासिक पल का गवाह बनना एक गौरव का विषय है। इस अवसर पर मैं हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस सहित समस्त देशवासियों को हार्दिक बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
An air show was held by daredevils of the Air Force by flying the indigenous aircraft Tejas, while Sarang helicopter aerobatic team also participated in the air show. Mr. Singh strongly felt that addition of Rafale into the Air Force will strengthen the country's air defense.
फ्रांस के साथ राफेल डील भारत की नेशनल सिक्योरिटी में एक गेम चेंजर है। इसका लॉन्ग रेंज ऑपरेशन, अपने वजन के बराबर आर्मामेंट और एडिशनल फ्यूल कैरी करने की कैपेसिटी, शॉर्ट लैंडिंग ग्राउंड से ऑपरेट करने की एबिलिटी, हाई स्पीड जैसी खूबियां इसे दुनिया के बेस्ट एयरक्राफ्ट में से एक बनाती हैं।
Further, speaking on the Indo-French relationship, Mr. Singh opined that this deal will deepen the bilateral ties between the two countries.
राफेल का इंडियन एयरफोर्स के बेड़े में शामिल होना भारत और फ्रांस के बीच के प्रगाढ़ संबंधों को भी यह दर्शाता है। भारत और फ्रांस लंबे समय से आर्थिक, सांस्कृतिक और राजनीतिक रणनीतिक यह साझेदार रहे हैं। मजबूत लोकतंत्र के प्रति हमारी आस्था और संपूर्ण विश्व में शांति की कामना हमारे आपसी संबंधों के आधार हैं।
Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria were also present on the occasion. These aircraft will be part of the 17th Squadron, the Golden Arrows. The first 5 Rafale aircraft had arrived at Air Force Station Ambala from France on the 27th of July this year. Water cannon salute was given to the Rafale fighter aircraft at the airbase. More from a correspondent.
Today, on the occasion of induction of Rafale fighter aircrafts in the Indian Air Force, the daredevil team of pilots of Air Force showcased their valor and capability to fly the jets in the sky. The echoes of Tejas in the air not only made proud the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, they also proved the capability of making India Atmanirbhar. The aerobatic team also showcased their talent on Sarang helicopters, proving that the Indian Air Force is capable of replying to any challenge on border. The Minister of Armed Forces of France, Florence Parly, and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh praised the capabilities of Indian Air Force, who witnessed the historical moment. Ashwini Kumar Sharma, AIR News, Chandigarh.
The recovery rate among COVID-19 patients has reached 77.74%. In all, 72,939 COVID patients recovered and were discharged from hospitals during the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has reached 34,71,783. It said the constant increase in recoveries ensured that the actual caseload of the country is reduced and currently comprises only 20.58% of the total positive cases. Effective implementation of test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatalities. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.68%. A total of 95,735 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours in the country. 60% of the total cases are reported from only 5 states. Maharashtra has alone contributed more than 23,000 and Andhra Pradesh has contributed more than 10,000. The total number of positive cases has now reached 44,65,863. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country stand at 9,19,018. In the last 24 hours, 1,172 deaths have been reported, taking the toll to 75,062, and 11,29,756 tests were conducted. So far, over 5 crore 29 lakh tests have been conducted across the country. The Union Health Ministry has urged the states and union territories to mandatorily retest all symptomatic negative cases of rapid antigen tests through RT-PCR. The ministry has noted that in some large states, symptomatic negative cases tested by rapid antigen tests are not being followed up by RT-PCR testing. The Health Ministry and Indian Council of Medical Research have jointly written to all the states in this regard. The ministry, in a statement, said this is necessary to ensure that such symptomatic negative cases do not remain untested and do not spread the disease among their contacts. It said this will also ensure early detection and isolation and hospitalization of such false negatives. In the letter, it has also been reiterated that while the RAT is being used to increase access and availability of testing in the field, RT-PCR remains the golden standard of COVID tests. The Health Ministry also urged the states to urgently establish a monitoring mechanism in every district by a designated officer or a team, and at the state level to follow up such cases.
Telangana government has constituted a 3-member task force to check the complaints of exorbitant fee charged by private hospitals for treating COVID patients. The government has nominated 3 IAS officers, Rahul Boja, D. Divya and Sarfaraz Ahmed, as members of the task force. Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao informed Assembly that the government has been trying its best to ensure the treatment was carried out in government hospitals and kept on hold the decision to allow private hospitals to treat such patients. However, it had to allow treatment in private hospitals following instructions issued by the courts of law. He assured the House that necessary action will be initiated to ensure that costs of treatment in private hospitals are under control. The government has also issued orders setting up the task force in the late evening. The task force will verify whether the corporate hospitals are collecting fees in line with charges stipulated by the government and safety protocols have been adhered to by these hospitals. Meanwhile, Telangana reported 2,534 fresh COVID-19 cases during the past 24 hours, taking the number of cases reported so far in the state to 1,50,176. The state conducted over 63,000 tests yesterday. More from a correspondent.
Telangana state today crossed the mark of 1,50,000 COVID cases by reporting over 2,500 new coronavirus positive cases during the past 24 hours. At the same time, the state also registered an improvement in its recoveries to 78% from 73% a few weeks ago. With over 2,000 more persons recovering yesterday, the total recoveries in the state so far reached to 1,17,143. Meanwhile, the State Medical and Health Department in its daily bulletin stated that 327 new COVID-19 cases reported in Hyderabad during the past 24 hours, whereas Rangareddy, Medchil Malkajgiri, Karimnagar, Khammam, Nalgonda and Siddipeta districts also reported over 100 new COVID cases each during the same period. Lakshmi, AR News, Hyderabad.
In the Union Territory of Chandigarh, 332 persons from various sectors and villages tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday, and 2 patients lost their lives due to this infection, while 180 patients discharged after recovery. A correspondent reports that with this, the number of persons found positive in Chandigarh so far has risen to 6,704, out of which 4,140 have cured and 2,484 are presently undergoing treatment. In Chandigarh, 80 COVID-positive patients have lost their lives so far, according to the UT Health Department.
The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, will attend the meeting of Council of Foreign Ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, in Moscow today. The Council of Foreign Ministers meeting in Moscow will review the preparations for the forthcoming SCO summit and also exchange views on international and regional issues. This will be the 3rd Council of Foreign Ministers meeting that India will be attending as a full member of SCO. India has been taking active part in various SCO dialogue mechanisms under the chairmanship of the Russian Federation this year. The minister also met his Kyrgyz Republic counterpart Chingiz Ayderbekov. In a tweet, he termed the meeting as fruitful and thanked Mr. Ayderbekov for the support in facilitating the return of Indian nationals. Both ministers discussed issues of bilateral and regional interest. In our series on Atmanirbhar Bharat today, we bring you a special story on P7 heavy drop system. Defence Research and Development Organisation DRDO has developed P7 heavy drop system, which is capable of para-dropping military stores up to 7 tons of weight class from IL-76 aircraft. It consists of a platform and specialised parachute system. The parachute system is a multi-stage system comprising of 5 main canopies, 5 brake chutes, 2 auxiliary chutes, 1 extractor parachute and platform, which is a metallic structure made of aluminium or steel alloys. The system has been developed successfully with 100% indigenous resources. P7 heavy drop system has been inducted in the army.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi digitally inaugurates Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, also launches e-Gopala app. First batch of 5 Rafale jets formally inducted into Indian Air Force by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at Ambala Air Base. Over 34,71,000 people recover from COVID-19 in the country so far. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to attend Shanghai Cooperation Foreign Ministers meeting in Moscow today. And in tennis, Serena Williams enters semi-finals of the US Open for 11th consecutive time. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
All India Radio presents Northeast Diary. Glimpses of the news of the week from the northeastern states.
All about the region, a gateway to Southeast Asia, the developments and the destinations to look forward to.
News from the art, cultural and entertainment world of the northeastern states of India. All this and more.
Every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. in the evening on 100.1 All India Radio FM News Channel.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud yesterday. The two leaders exchanged views on global challenges in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Modi expressed his appreciation for the leadership provided by Saudi Arabia during its ongoing presidency of the G20 grouping. The leaders agreed that the initiatives taken at the level of the G20 had helped in promoting a coordinated response to the pandemic. They also discussed the main priorities presently on the agenda of the G20. The two leaders expressed their satisfaction at the state of bilateral relations between India and Saudi Arabia and committed to further strengthen cooperation in all areas. Mr. Modi expressed his special thanks to King Salman for the support provided to Indian expatriates by the Saudi authorities during the COVID-19 pandemic. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today said that preserving and protecting one's mother tongue, Indian culture, values and the environment will be a real tribute one could pay to the Telugu literary legend Sri Vishwanatha Satyanarayan. Virtually inaugurating the 125th birth anniversary celebrations of Kavi Samrat Sri Vishwanatha Satyanarayan, Mr. Naidu described the literary genius as an embodiment of Indian culture and traditions. Mr. Naidu said through his works, he had highlighted the importance of imparting learning in one's mother tongue, preserving culture and protecting nature. He also called making nature's protection a people's movement.
Delhi Metro started its services on Red Line, Green Line and Violet Line this morning. With this, 7 lines of the Delhi Metro network are now open for commuters. After a pause of over 5 months due to COVID-19 pandemic, Delhi Metro resumed its services from Monday in the Yellow Line and Rapid Metro Gurugram. Yesterday, services started on Blue Line and Pink Line. Ministry of Railways have decided to run 40 pairs of timetable special trains on specific routes from the 12th of September. Currently, 16 special trains are passing through Vijayawada division. As part of the partial restoration of passenger services, 8 more special trains will run through Vijayawada division in addition to the existing Shramik specials and special AC trains. These passing over trains include 2 services each of MGR Chennai Central New Delhi, Chennai Central Chhapra, Tiruchirappalli Howrah and Bangalore Kent Guwahati special train. The booking of these trains is commenced from today. These special trains will be fully reserved trains having both AC and non-AC classes. General GS coaches shall also have reserved seat for sitting. Necessary arrangements will be made to handle the passengers carefully at all stations so as to ensure coordinated movement of the passengers to maintain social distance and other health precautions in the wake of prevailing COVID-19 situation. Passengers are requested to avail the services of online ticket booking to avoid crowding at the reservation centres.
In Madhya Pradesh, the Central Study Team reached the state today on a 3-day tour to assess damages caused by heavy rains and floods. It is to be mentioned that due to incessant heavy rains in the state in the last days of August caused flooding in many districts. The study team will return to Delhi on 12th of September. A report.
The central team, led by Joint Secretary Ashutosh Agnihotri, comprises officers of the Ministry of Agriculture, Finance, Water Resources, Road Transport and Highways, and Rural Development. The central study team will visit the flood-affected districts Sihor, Raisen, Hoshangabad, Harda and Devas to assess the flood-affected crops and other damages. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has said that loss caused by the floods will be compensated fully by the government to the affected people. The state government will provide an amount of rupees 1 lakh to 2 lakh as assistance for reconstruction of the house. 50 kg free food grains will also be provided to each flood-affected persons. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Karnataka is one of the states facing the problem of malnutrition among children, pregnant women and nursing mothers. According to the Integrated Child Development Services data, the stunting average among children in the state is 32.5% as compared to the national average of 35%, but wasting or underweight average is 26.1% as compared to the national average of 20%, and anemia average in Karnataka is 60.9% as compared to 58.6% at the national level. To mitigate the problem of malnutrition, the state is implementing Poshan Abhiyan, the flagship program of the centre. The Integrated Child Development Service Joint Director in the State Department of Women and Child Development, Surekha Vijay Prakash, spoke to AIR on the program's plan during the Poshan Mah being celebrated this month.
We are conducting some competition to school children, importance of nutrition. And also with the help of horticulture department, we are planning to have around 7,000 kitchen gardening at Anganwadi level. Then home visits also we planned along with ASHA workers and ANM. And also to create awareness among the public, we have planned a lot of programs through Doordarshan and Akashvani.
Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan attended the 10th East Asia Summit EAS Foreign Ministers meeting yesterday. The meeting was held virtually. It was attended by the foreign ministers of the East Asia Summit, participating countries, and chaired by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Vietnam. The meeting discussed ways and means to strengthen the leaders-led EAS platform and to make it more responsive to emerging challenges on its 15th anniversary. Mr. Muralidharan, in his remarks, appreciated Vietnam's efforts as ASEAN chair for providing continued stewardship towards a cohesive and responsive ASEAN during the pandemic.
In a series on Gandhian philosophy, today we bring you a report on how Gandhiji's clarion call to women to actively involve themselves in the freedom movement impacted their lives immensely and changed their outlook.
Mahatma Gandhi's clarion call and the cause of Swaraj swept all taboos and old customs before it. Age-old caste and gender prejudices were shed and women felt no hesitation in leaving the boundaries of their protected homes and going to the jail. While Gandhiji never challenged the traditional setup, he inspired the women to etch out their destinies through struggle within it and thereby changing its very essence. He was able to imbibe the message of non-violence to women. Gandhiji had said, "Women is more fitted than men to make explorations and take bolder action in ahimsa." He wrote that men and women need to be educated equally in a household because the home belongs to both. Anupam Mish, AIR News, Delhi.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has said the state government is taking stern action against those responsible for the multi-crore rupee scam in the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. Talking to reporters in Thiruvannamalai, he said the scam has been reported in 13 districts in the state. He said the CB, CID, police are investigating the case, adding the funds misappropriated in several cases are being recovered. He said the enlisting of 5 lakh people as beneficiaries in the scheme in just 4 months raised suspicion, leading to the investigation by the State Agriculture Department. 18 people have been arrested in the case so far, and 81 contractual staff of the department have been terminated from work. He said departmental action has been initiated against 34 officials.
It is said if you want to know about a place, it is always better to visit in person than to read about it. Ek Bharat Shreshtha Bharat campaign is a great opportunity to learn about the colourful nature and culture of our country. As part of the campaign, citizens of Maharashtra and Odisha get a chance to learn more about various aspects of each other's cuisine, music, dance, theatre, handicrafts, sports, literature and festivals through tourism. A report from our correspondent.
It is said that travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer. As a part of Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat campaign, people from Maharashtra and Odisha enjoys traveling and to explore various places of tourist attraction in both the states. Mr. Sudhir Patil suggested some measures to boost tourism of both the states.
Odisha tourism, the tagline India's best kept secret, is really amazing destination. As a tour operator, we are promoting this destination for last 3 decades. This destination earlier known for only for Konark Sun Temple and Jagannath Puri, and because of that many people used to visit there.
Organizing educational tours for schools and university students reciprocally, promotion of home stay for visitors and promotion of Rajya Darshan for tourists are some of the measures that are truly proving effective to boost tourism. This will impress upon people at large about the increasing interconnectedness between the constituents of various cultural and economic zones, which is vital for the spirit of nation building. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Today is World Suicide Prevention Day. On 10th of September every year, World Health Organization, in association with International Association for Suicide Prevention, is organizing World Suicide Prevention Day to raise awareness around the globe that suicide can be prevented. Various activities, including educational and commemorative events, press briefings and conferences, as well as Facebook and Twitter coverage are organized on this day. According to WHO, nearly 8 lakh people die by suicides every year. Furthermore, for each suicide, there are more than 20 suicide attempts. Suicides and suicide attempts have a ripple effect that impacts families, friends, colleagues, communities and societies. Speaking to All India Radio, psychiatrist Dr. Ram Pratap Beniwal said,
"Suicide can be preventable. If you have suicidal ideas, please tell your family, friends, neighbors or your near and dear and share your feelings. And if these are persistent, you should contact to doctor or psychiatrist. There is no question of hesitation. These may be a sign and symptoms of your mental illness, your depression, your anxiety. It's curable. Depression is curable. So please take treatment and avoid to go for these type of the attempt."
In the US Open, Serena Williams has pulled out another 3-setter to reach the semi-finals in an 11th consecutive appearance. Williams trailed by a set and a break against Svetlana Pironkova before coming back to win 4-6, 6-3, 6-2 last night in Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. 2 more victories for Williams and she will claim a record-tying 24th Grand Slam singles titles. Williams last lost before the semi-finals in New York all the way back in 2007 when Justine Henin eliminated her in the quarterfinals.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi is expected to have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature recorded in the city was 26 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperature is expected to be around 36 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature recorded was 27 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 34 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature recorded was 25 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature in the metropolis was 27 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 35 degrees. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature in Jammu was 25 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. In Jammu, there will be mainly clear skies. Srinagar may have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature in Srinagar was recorded at 14 degrees Celsius while maximum is expected to be around 30 degrees. Ladakh will also have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 7 degrees and maximum will be around 27. Gilgit is going to have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature in Gilgit was 15 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 33 degrees. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 21 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi digitally inaugurates Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, also launches e-Gopala app. First batch of 5 Rafale jets formally inducted into the Indian Air Force by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at Ambala Air Base. Over 34,71,000 people recover from COVID-19 in the country so far. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to attend Shanghai Cooperation Foreign Ministers meeting in Moscow today. And in tennis, Serena Williams enters the semi-finals of US Open for the 11th consecutive time. And with that, we end the Midday News.